Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever and whenever you're joining us this amazing morning. Yeah, this amazing day. I'm super excited to have you join this Diary of Hackers session. This is one of the amazing episode we'll be having. I think, yeah, this is the first episode of interview with experts that we'll be having and cyber talks that we'll be having in 2022. I am super excited to have you join today. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about how you can achieve your 2022 a new year and probably a lifelong career in cybersecurity. And we have an amazing guest today in our midst. He's one of the top tech bros and cyber bro in Africa. Yes, not just Nigeria. Trust me, in Africa. I'm super excited to have Mr. Gbolabo Awelewa in our midst today. Say hello, sir.
Hello. Hi everyone.
Yeah,
My name is Gbolabo, not Gbolade. Gbolabo.
Oh, Gbolabo. Super sorry about that. Yes, so we are super excited to have you on the show today, and I am pretty sure we'll be having an amazing time here to, hear from the wealth of experience you have and advice you will be giving us as relating to the topic we'll be treating today. So, guys, you're all welcome. You're all welcome. You can indicate on the chat box wherever you're joining us from, so we know where we currently are. So you can just indicate on the chat box. Fabian, you're welcome. So before we begin the show today, I will love to introduce our dear speaker. Um, as he has rightly pointed out, is Gbolabo Awelewa, is currently the Chief Technical Officer and the Country Manager of Infoprive Group. And he's a business, he has a very long intro, so I'll try to cut it short. So he's a business information system and enterprise security architect with over a decade of experience. And he's into the business side and also the security architecture side of cybersecurity. He has wealth of experience in design and the improvement of solutions. And he has served with different organizations such as hotels, Unified Payments. He served as the CTO of a merchant bank. He has a lot of experience. Yes, he has served with UBA as their head of database and application security. He served also as information security and compliance manager at Altec West Africa. He worked with InterSwitch as their head of information system and security management. He has worked with Philips Consulting as a system administrator and the likes. And his um, technical skills, it includes okay, sorry. Yes, converged infrastructure, unified threat management, IT governance, enterprise security management, enterprise system administration, infrastructure visualization, IT service management, business process automation, IT vulnerability and threat management, disaster recovery management, project management. I could go on and on and on and on today, and we wouldn't finish. Okay, so you're welcome, sir. We're really privileged to have you on the show today, sir.
Thank you for having me, Moses. Thank you. It's a
Yes,
privilege to be here actually, because funny enough, on the other side, you'll probably be surprised that I would be learning from people in the class today too, in the session, based on questions they would ask or insights, on their own views. So it's probably going to be a symbiotic session where we both benefit from each other.
Yeah, yeah. So the attendees, I guess you're hearing that he is actually waiting to see the glass kind of questions you'll be asking him today, and he's ready for that. Fabian, you're welcome from Kano. Luafermi, you're welcome from Lagos. Faith Kobe, you're welcome. She's an African. I love that. All right, Femi, you're welcome from the United Kingdom, and every other person that will be joining us later today, you are welcome all. So before I start with, we've had several interviews with industry experts. So in case you are just coming on for the first time, you can check on our YouTube channel. We've had interview with Ireti Akirele. We've had interview with Tai Lambo. We've had interview with Oluwatobi. We've had interview with other several industry experts from around the world. So you can just check out on YouTube channel and see so that you can learn from everyone as well. So, sir, before we start with the Q&A section, I just have some few questions for you, and
Okay.
I would really love you to introduce yourself more and then tell us how you got started in cybersecurity.
Okay. So maybe I should start with that. So my name is Gbolabo, as Moses has introduced, and I would. So I started off as a technology administrator, IT administrator at Philips Consulting, and um, and then I moved on to InterSwitch. So I think the experience at InterSwitch it was a defining one because it was at the whole drive for information security started, and and it was an environment that was enabling. It lets you, build capacity, build your capabilities, and then you actually can recommend and come to management that this is what's trending, this is what's working, and this is how we should implement. And they just give you an approval and a go ahead, which is what happened. So, playing my role as a as a systems administrator, information systems manager, deployment of critical services. As you know, InterSwitch provides services to all banks and multiple businesses and a lot of customers. And so in a way, it felt like your life depended on ensuring the services were up and running. And so it got to a point that we were building platforms, building infrastructure, but we needed to secure infrastructure. And then the information security team, there was nothing called being a CISO, you know. Then I think PCI DSS was, on the horizon. And I think then my boss, who's currently my partner at Infoprive, came up with that we had to comply with PCI as a payment company. And then there was no pressure compared to today where, CBN is on everybody's case to comply with PCI and ISO. Ours was more of self-driven, that to be global and to, be best in class, what are our peers doing in the rest of the world. And so we embarked on that drive. We didn't engage consultants internally, assigned roles and responsibilities, and then we called a QSA company and we went through the audit and we passed. And of course, it was a big achievement because self-driven, internally achieved, we didn't need any consultants, and that was where everything started. So we were like, so there's more to being an IT infrastructure engineer, there's more to being a data center manager or information systems manager. You need to secure infrastructure, and actually it's that security that ensures consistency in business, continuous availability of your service, and ensures you are profitable overall. So for people that always wonder, so where's that value? As a cybersecurity guy, what business value do you provide? Playing your role effectively, ensuring availability of services, ensuring customer transaction and data is safe on its own ensures the business is profitable. And there's a way you can communicate that, which is why it's a major requirement for any cybersecurity specialist today to be able to communicate value. You need to be able to speak to what you do and how you do it. So anyway, fast forward, left InterSwitch to Altec West Africa as a security and architect, implementing security services, to customers, mostly banks. And then I left then to set up Infoprive with my former boss from InterSwitch, and who's still currently my former boss, my current boss now and partner. And then we started off. All our clients were firstly banks that knew us from InterSwitch, and they knew that okay, fine, we probably haven't tested these guys from a security point of view, but we know they did their job well when it comes to IT infrastructure management or managing their transaction infrastructure and services. So we got a chance, a couple of banks, then payment companies, and we started growing and we broke into different teams. Then there was an hiatus, I had to leave, I pulled out because the industry was calling. So there was setting up like a crack team then in UBA to help with information security management, and then I got the role to head application and database security management at UBA for about 2 years, almost 3 years, and then I left UBA to attain the role of CTO, CIO at Coronation Merchant Bank. So why I embraced that role, aside for career advancement, jumping to C level, which is being in that position to make decisions, I had the information security team under me. So that was so if you're wondering, okay, you used to be application and database security, now you're CIO. So it's like moving from security back to IT. No, so it was more of, now I'm CIO, but I have the information security team reporting to me. So I would leave my information security dreams through that team and still be able to upscale. So running that, at some point we didn't have a CISO, so CISO started coming on board, and CBN was requesting that there was a need for CISO. So at some point I doubled up as CTO and CISO at Coronation Merchant Bank, so which was good for me anyway. And then I moved to Unified Payments, same drive, larger audience, but now back into payments, more challenging terrain, more tasking, which was quite exciting for me. And yes, I still had my information security team, compliance management, security controls. So that kept me going. And at some point in time, I was representing the organization as a CISO to CBN. So that helped me that, though I'm doing other things like e-commerce, automation, I still could focus. So talking about that, the example it shows is that from the beginning of your career, every skill you develop, whether it's in IT management or cybersecurity, at some point in the future you can utilize to be a CIO or a CISO. I can give you a good example. One of my customers, and is a bit of a mentor, he used to be the CISO of a bank, a Nigerian bank. Just last year it was good, and before the end of last year, by the grace and the fact that he had IT management capabilities, he was elevated to become the CIO. But it doesn't still change the fact that he's a CISO or he knows information security. So that helps a lot. So now he's CIO, we mock him at times. At times you feel you're missing out if you're not the CISO, because the CISO gets more activity based on security breaches, issues. But he's currently the CIO, and he can, change career and still come back to being a CISO or maybe a security director in the future. So why I threw that in is the fact that irrespective of the capabilities you've developed, you would utilize it in the future at some point. So you have to keep at it. You have to keep running. So anyway, so I left Unified Payments and I came back to my love child, that we bettered some years ago, which was Infoprive. And this time around, we had set up a managed security services arm of the group, which is eSentry. So we came back. So I doubled as the CTO, country manager, depending on which of the businesses I am, I'm talking about or I'm interfacing with the customer on. And I would say it's an amazingly rewarding experience. So people ask me, so how's work? I'll be like, it's overwhelmingly exciting. So it's overwhelming, you was exciting. So basically you love what you do, you're enjoying work, you feel that you're impacting positively. From a revenue point of view, the company is growing profitably, and then you are sure you're impacting lives. So I wake up in the morning and I can receive a message, one of my clients or a new prospect has been attacked, maybe a ransomware attack or a denial of service. And I have to respond immediately. I call my guys, we move in, and work starts, irrespective of the day, whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday. So I would say my job is a bit of round the clock, 24/7, but yeah, we still try to balance things. So I think I've said so much, so maybe we should create space for questions now.
Yes, I mean, it's a lot of experience, and as I can see, it's more like in a very short time, if I'm not mistaken. So you've achieved a lot in a very short while. So what would you say is really that thing that have been helping you along the way, apart from the fact that yes, you've had some kind of skills already, some IT skills that at least if this not working, you can easily switch to this. Is there a soft skill or a core technical skill that you think has been helping you around when you have been transitioning around these roles?
Okay, so if I would speak about my experience, and I try to communicate this, but most times because I'm an employer now, depending on who I'm talking to, you might think I'm trying to keep you. But I think what has helped me is when you start, you have to first invest in yourself. So I started writing certification exams from school, which a lot of people do now, which is really good. So I wrote my CCNA exam, I think year 3 or 4, and I got my first job final year 5, which I think a lot of people do now too, which is good. But what you now need to do at that point is you need to stay. By stay, I mean you need to develop capabilities. Anywhere you get a job, let the focus be on capabilities development, not on making money. First, you need to develop skill and enjoy work. Today, there are some people, they never really enjoyed work. And that's because they never really spent up to 2 years anyway. You get, or a year. And that's because it's the chase for the money. Who's that next employer that needs to pay you? But you see, there's a part where you need to develop capabilities. You develop capacity to the level where you can now start jumping. So if I will use myself as an example, okay, so I started off and then at Philips, I was at Philips for about 2 years, pre-service and service here. And when I was sure I was ready, when the opportunity came, and I'm like, oh, it's into switch, it's a very good environment to grow. And I think the defining moment for me was the almost 5 years I spent at IntoSwitch, which I was slaving in the sense that it wasn't even, as in, I was getting calls, former bosses, from colleagues would call me, banks would engage. I'll be like, no, I work with IntoSwitch. I can't go to a bank. As in, it doesn't get any better. Just because of the experience. Also, luckily, IntoSwitch is an amazing employer, by the way. They train people. So we go on trainings, they give you that free hand, you have an idea, they think it would work, they give you a free hand to try it out. So, and I had amazing bosses. So my current partner used to be my boss. So it was amazing. You just come up with an idea and it like gives you a sandbox to play it out. Okay. And if it works, it takes it to management. We get a justification and approval, and then we implement. So it was an exciting. So at that point in time, I wasn't thinking about money. I was thinking capabilities development, having skill, having all that requirements. And the truth is that it was like a high intensity, high energy environment round the clock. Nobody had to tell you to wait till after work hours. Nobody had to tell you to come on weekends. I was always I'm telling you about what worked for me. My boss didn't have to tell me. I close late. And truth is, at some point in your career, you need to do that. You need to spend your life at work at some point to develop capability. So I close late, enjoyably so. Nobody forced me. And that's because during work hours, I'm supporting, helping customers or internal customers. Then when it's 5, 6, that's when I start my own work, reading, developing capacity, learning one thing or the other. And on weekends, I play football every Saturday, by the way. I played this morning. After soccer, I go back home, clean up, I'm at work. I will hang out. I'm a social animal, so I hang out. That's no problem. So, but be at work, then in the evenings, you hang if you want. Sunday, I attend church, at times. And then after church, I'm back at work. But you see, those were the defining moments. I had to do that at that point in time. Those are the only times you can focus and write certification exams back to back. Those are the only times you can think about an issue you encounter during the week and you spend the weekend fixing it. So there was something I used to do at Philips and I used to do it at IntoSwitch. Any issue I had during the week or on a particular day, I would stay at work till late to Google, learn how to fix it. Then in the morning, I will show off to my boss on how I fixed the issue or to the client or the unit. And I just go there, waltz into the place, fix the issue and bounce back, feeling proud. So, and that helped because it would improve your knowledge base, it will improve your skill and capacity. So I think what works is that initial stage in your career, commit yourself to developing skill and capabilities. 3, 4, 5 years. Mine was about 5, 6 years because I did 2 years at Philips and I was almost 5 years at InterSwitch. Yes. So if you now look at my profile after InterSwitch, there were a bit of a 1.5 years, 2 years here and there. But truth is, everywhere I went to, they wanted me because of my skills in InterSwitch, where I spent 5 years. Absolutely everywhere I went to. Yo, you worked in InterSwitch, and then the questions start. And truth, anything you talk, if you go to InterSwitch today and you look at some of their systems, you would see my trademark there, as in I worked really hard. So, and that's what you need to do first. After you've done that, then you can now start, okay, it's time to make money, it's time to live a good life, it's time to fulfill, your dreams. That's the time you can now say, okay, the strategic objectives of the organization has to align with your own personal objectives. After you develop capabilities, you have skill. It means you can work anywhere. You understand? So, and that's the level you need to get to. So, for example, case in point, most of my peers, everybody is, like you guys say, everybody's jackpotting now. People are traveling abroad. In fact, there is no week I don't get the question, but what are you still doing in Nigeria? Why are you still in the country? So the thing is, and that's because they believe I have capabilities and skills to thrive abroad. Foreign recruiters buzz me every now and then. But then again, there's a chance if you can be a king in your country, why not? So you're fixing problems in your country, you're adding value in your country, you're getting rewards for it. For the rewards to come, you need to have developed capabilities, you need to have developed skill, and experience. But yes, like you mentioned, in a short period you can. But what helped me achieve all that in that short period is commitment to work and focus to work. And it's a minimum, at least. Work somewhere minimum 3 to 5 years. I know it's difficult now, but that's what works. And once you've been able to do that, you can now do anything you want. Absolutely anything you want. So that's what works for me.
Wow. That's a lot. I mean, the one thing I would love to reiterate upon is the fact that you need to build capacity. And just like you've said, it's not really about, okay, I want a job to get the money. I just need the money. No, you need to build the capacity, ability so that when you're moving next, people can be like, okay, so you have these skills. Can you now come? They'll be the one like reaching out to you, not you even going and to look for your next role. So it's amazing to know that you also play football, even even as a professional. And just like you say, it seems you like the the other side of it, which is the like the social life of it. It's amazing to
Yeah.
see that. But how do you think it's possible to balance the social life and the career life, and even like not being too rigid on your plans? Like some people now, they want to say, this year I want to write 12 certifications, one every month. You understand? And you not
Mm.
see the person probably outside. Maybe I just want to read and pass. I just want to read and pass. So what's your view on balancing your, because that has to do with your mental health, I guess. So
Yeah.
what's your view on being social and being professional as well?
Okay. So I think it depends on your person. So by all means, we have people that are not so social, which is they're not the outgoing type. So I'm sure they find their balance by maybe being indoors, being by themselves, reading another book, or watching a movie, whatever works. In my own case, I'm a bit of an hyperactive person. So even right from school, I've been a bit. I love music. I I love clothes. I I'm a bit vain. And I also have some industry mentor. I can't mention his name because he works for or he runs a company and it's competition, but he's a mentor still. He's quite vain. As in, he does videos, he would dance in his mirror and post it on his status. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best cybersecurity professionals in this country. And so for me, I try to be real with myself that, you know what, you first, there's the career and there's your person. Um, I meet people after they meet me, they just change their ways. That you know what, I can still do this and still be flexible. So what worked is so from school. Let's say from school. So for school, there was a bit of balance. In school, you can do a bit of socials, and then after school, what I had to do was there was a period where I could not attend to socials. In fact, I could not afford to attend to socials, like hang out and do other things, or even buy the kind of clothes I want. And that was that period when I was developing capabilities, writing exams, developing capacity, focusing on work. That's the truth. And funny enough, those things don't leave you, they stay with you. So if you're a social person, for the moments when you get the opportunity, when it's time to flex, you flex. But you see, when it's time to write exams, so for example, if your target is, I want to write an exam, I want to have 4 certification exams or 4 certificates, like certifications this year. To achieve that, I need to write the exams every quarter. So basically, what it means is that the first 2 months of every quarter would go to preparing for it. So if you know what's good for you, write the exams before the end of the quarter so you can have some free time to flex. Then it gets to a point you stop writing certification exams. Like for me now, you can't, as in, I see it at times when I'll be like, even if I write it, what's the use? So anybody that's talking to me now talks to me based on my experience and what they know I can do, not the certification. So for example, I hardly see people come to me and say, CISSP, CISM, no. So they know, Gbolabo, based on your experience here, based on what you've done here. So, but there's a time where the certifications work for you, which is now. You're finishing school, you just finished school, you finish service here, you're looking for a place where you can settle in and build capacity and grow your career. Certifications help. It makes you come through as a serious-minded person. It makes you come through as a driven person, as a focused person, and someone that has a plan. So at times when I look at your certifications, I know what you want for yourself. So for example, you want to be a forensic specialist, then you should have done CHFI. You understand? You want to be a pen tester, you probably would have done CEH and some other certification. So I would know, I would tell. So, but let me now tell you, so at some point, I did CISM straight off without doing some certifications. And someone that came like, see, I want to be an information security manager. And I feel I don't need to do all these other certifications to get there because I've worked for it. And it worked for me. But then in my own time, there wasn't so much competition. The landscape was up and coming, and we were part of the pioneers that put that awareness out there for information security. So I would say maybe it was easier for me back in the days. But now you need to compete. Everybody's writing certifications. In fact, I interview people every day. After this session, I'll still do some interviews. And I see that there are a lot of guys with certifications, but they don't have substance. And I won't consider them. But I would ask you questions based on what you've done. So let me give you an example. If you don't have work experience, I would ask you questions about labs that you've worked on. Okay, so you want to be a pen tester, but you've not worked for anybody. Tell me what you've done personally. Tell me how you voluntarily on your own decided to do a pen test on an organization that didn't ask you to do it. They didn't ask for it, but you decided to do a forensic assessment on them without them asking. And you use it as a justification to get a job. That, hey, I did an assessment on your platform, on your mobile app, and this is what I got. And I'm like, okay, so this is promising. It means you are driven, you know what you want to do, and then I'll give you a chance. Beyond certification. So there's a role certification plays. It lets you get that attention. But then again, when we start asking questions on what you know how to do, what you've done, based on the capacity you have right now, before you are given a fair chance, what have you done? That determines a lot. So, and guess what? You would balance this thing. So I'll give you an example. I hung out yesterday night, and it was a mix. I hung out yesterday night. There were drinks, music, and all, but I was still talking about work. I was still looking for techie people that are considering cybersecurity in the new year. And my question to an average techie would be, okay, so what are your plans for this year? So even football, the group I play football with, I have a whole lot of guys that are in different fintechs, Paystack, Flutterwave, some betting companies, digital betting companies, digital banks. So you would always push yourself into that space. So being social at times is an opportunity to put yourself out there. So I have one of my colleagues that works with me, and he used to tell me, he grew up in Abuja, and he would tell me that he used to get free gigs by going to hang out at some social spots in Abuja. So there's a place called Blue Cabana. Dude will go there and sit there with his laptop forming geeky and all fly. And people will come to him and say, oh, are you a tech guy? Are you a cyber guy? Oh, can you do this for me? And it could be any request. It could be, oh, can you break into my girlfriend's phone or my husband's phone? Oh, I got this link. Can you help me block this? Oh, I got this email. Oh, my company, my people use internet. Can you help me restrict internet access? It starts from little requests to enterprise level requests, and you need to just be involved. You need to be doing something. So socials, staying out socials doesn't help you grow your career quickly, but developing capabilities and putting yourself out there. So let me give you a case now. Today is Saturday. So let's say you play football in the morning and you stop playing football by 10, and you set up from 12 noon to about 6 p.m. You can focus on career, work, develop capabilities. And by 6, 7, go out, mix with people, mingle, talk to people, engage. So staying indoors or focusing on writing those exams, reading, you need to be sociable to even know about the opportunities out there that you can explore. So that balance is key, and you need to ensure you achieve it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. Thank you so much, sir. It's really important to balance your social skills as well because it gives you a lot of benefits, just like you have pointed out. I remember you asked me as well, what am I up to this year? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really a key thing to be social because if you're trying to make impact, it's all about people. It's not really just about the cybersecurity, but about people as well. So thank you so much, sir, for that. So I want to ask, okay, there is a question on the chat board on the Q&A. Let me see. Let me start with Tega. What do you think is the basic requirements to get employed as a junior infosec analyst?
Hmm. Okay, so basic requirements. So, but junior infosec analyst. So the thing with Nigeria now is that there's a way we like generalize completely. So infosec, what area? So, but what I would do is, we'll talk about maybe different roles, and then we would see how that goes. Because an infosec analyst could be as a pen tester, could be as a malware analyst, could be as a cybersecurity engineer, could be as a security architect, which is to start off. So, but what are those prerequisite skills you need to have? First is you need to have, IT infrastructure, system management skills, which is understanding how a computer works, for example, how its systems work, having an understanding of operating systems, network infrastructure, the basics of network. So when people come to me and they'll be like, okay, so they want a career in cybersecurity, what should they do first? What certification should they write? And I send them off to do CCNA. Good thing is, I think CCNA now has, cyber ops or so, CCNA security. So I'm like, go and do CCNA. CCNA helps you first understand the basics, systems, network protocols, network architecture, the basics, and that helps you. Or I tell them to go do CompTIA A plus and Security plus. And basically that is understanding systems and networks. Understand systems and networks, and then from there you pivot into system security, network security. Also, a major requirement today now is having coding skills. So knowledge of C++, Python, Java, it goes a long way today because now it's beyond infrastructure, web-based, web applications, web services. So at times you need to be able to understand network and system administration. You need to be able to know knowledge of operating systems and virtual machines. So clouds, virtual infrastructure. Everybody is moving to cloud. So I'm sure all of us at some point have used some form of free service from AWS. So cloud infrastructure, understanding how virtual machines work, how they are set up. If you want to scale it a bit, you will talk about Kubernetes, containerization, and which is a bit advanced, but just even start from understanding virtual machines and cloud, how cloud services work. Also, network security control, being able to create rules on a firewall, how the firewall rules work, the avoiding IP any and streamlining to IP rules to the level of port numbers, for example, depending on the services you're trying to set up. Again, a major emphasis on coding. Some level of skill, some elements of coding helps you go a long way. Being able to script effectively. In fact, if you can't do anything, just know Python, be able to do a bit of JavaScripting, PHP, HTML. Why? Because at some point you want to be a pen tester or you want to be a web security specialist, which you have to if you want to be, because everything is web based, everything is cloud based, everything is mobile apps, everything. So it's web based, it's the internet. So you need to have this skill. An understanding of databases is also very key. So SQL, having SQL skills, understanding cryptography. So when you're dealing with the encryption, you can understand and relate to how it works and why it's important. So having a basic knowledge and understanding of some of these things and taking some of them to an advanced level takes you, gives you that level of exposure you need to, as you see the security concepts, frameworks, you can apply in the workplace. So that's what I would say to that question.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that. So we've been talking about the talent shortage now in cybersecurity. So there have been a lot of talks about the shortage of cybersecurity talent. There are shortages of that cybersecurity talent. So million number of jobs that are unfilled. Blah 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 blah. But still, you still find some people having difficulty really finding maybe an internship placement or probably a job in cybersecurity, especially in Nigeria. So, is it really, what's really your take on that? Is there really shortage of manpower or shortage of jobs in cybersecurity?
Okay, so in cybersecurity, what we have is a shortage of skills. What we have is a shortage of skills. So, for example, after this session today, I'm going to interview some people for some roles. And to be honest, so most organizations, an organization is not a charity organization. So at times they have requirements for different roles, and to be honest, a lot of organizations don't have that patience to train and develop, especially if you are not driven. So I know people scale, people actually do well, especially when you're self-driven. And I love working with young people. So where we work, I actually prefer putting young people in major roles and helping them grow, helping them discover potential, having them. So in fact, helping them find purpose. Like, what do you want to do? What are the capabilities you can develop? But the question now is, I don't think there's any young person that is self-driven, focused and committed, is developing capabilities or capacity in the way they can, that does not have a good job right now. So the issue of the shortage now is more of shortage of skill. And I would advise anybody that, what, for example, and it happened a lot during the pandemic when, the COVID started, free certification exams. In fact, I waited till the end of 2020 and I did a survey in my office that how many of you leveraged on the free certification exams, trainings that AWS, Oracle, and the rest were throwing up and down? And on LinkedIn, I kept seeing a lot. Truth is, I was too busy. I was building a business. So, though I tried to still taste technical, but unfortunately, life won't let me happen. But I had to ask them. So, for the young guys, how many of you did? Trust me, not too many people did. So, I made it compulsory 2021. In fact, it was an appraisal issue that you are not training yourself or developing capacity, and you work with me. It's a problem. So, and that is what people need to do. Develop capacity, develop that skill, write that free exam, do that free training, even if it's free, Coursera, you can pay for a certification, whatever it is, write it and do it. And then, by the time you are speaking to an employer, they have something, or you have something they need, or they see potential in you that, what, we can bring this guy on board, and knowing if we give him this opportunity, give him this exposure, it would blow out in a bit. So you need to work on yourself. As an employer, I always need to see, what have you done with the opportunities you have? So if it's free training on LinkedIn, what have you done? How many of the trainings have you done? You get? I need to hear a guy say that, you know what, I've read for CISSP or I've read for CEH, okay, but I've not been able to raise money to write the exams. I can try to take a chance on you. Okay, write the exams, pay me. If you fail, you must pay me back. But if you pass, then keep the money. You get whatever it is, engage an uncle, go to church, whatever it is, whatever works for you. Talk to someone to bet on you that I need to write this exam. If you give me the money for this, it's an investment. So at times you just need to be bold and take big steps. And I think people need to also not be entitled. So that self-entitlement, which I think a lot of us are experiencing and expecting now, has to stop. You need to work for it. You need to develop capacity. And I need to see value in you to employ you. I need to see value in you to want you to work with me. So it's really key. So if you're not providing value, then you're not getting the job. And guess what?
Sure.
Irrespective of your situation, even if you can't afford to write exams, there are things you can do that will let me know that you're a serious-minded person and I can work with you to grow your career. And that's what people need to do.
Absolutely, absolutely true. It's all about value, value. What value can you provide? And just like you said, an organization is not a charity organization. A company is not a charity organization, so they need to
I
grow
tell you,
their revenue as well. So it depends on what you can give to them. Then that's what you also.
it's a value system. So, for example,
Yeah,
as a starter, you can give your years to the company to help them grow, and in return, they are giving you opportunities to grow, writing exams, exposing you to customers and real life issues that builds your profile, that builds your
sure,
portfolio. You know.
sure.
So that's the way it works.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So moving on, just for our attendees, there will be a quick quiz session at the end of this interview, and the top winner will get a free Try Hack Me subscription. And please, um, just stay to the end if you want to have it. Yes. So moving on, sir, I want to know if one of the problem we have as those that are just getting into the field is getting mentors. So there's a question on the chat box by someone. He said by Oluwafemi, how do we get mentors on our career path that we could learn from? In addition, okay, in addition, do you also mentor? He's asking. But again,
Okay.
getting mentors, yes, you can just answer it. Sir.
Okay. So how do you? So let me tell you. So what you do is, as I was growing in my career, what I did was I identified specific people. Luckily, I had a boss who is my current partner now that is still my mentor and boss, and so it was easy for me to tap from him and reach out to him. But what you do is you see people you want to be like, you see people you can get value from, and engage them, send them, add them on LinkedIn, send them a message. They might not respond. They have, as in some of those guys can be busy. In fact, at times. I didn't know what it was going to be like till I got to some level. I'm like, okay, so I can be so busy not to respond to messages too. So they get really busy, but add them, send them a message, ask questions. So for example, don't ask for a job. Just ask what you need to do. So first develop capacity. Make yourself attractive. Then the person will be the one to say, okay, are you interested? Do you want a job? Are you interested in this role? Again. So I have mentors back in the days where, especially when I was in InterSwitch, I had mentors people that they will call me. What do you? I'm like, no, I'm enjoying. I used to tell people then that I'm enjoying my work in InterSwitch. I'm learning. In fact, I have projects I'm working on. And they'll be like, they'll look at me like, what's wrong with this stupid boy? And I was busy. But guess what? Some of them, when I was ready, I went back. Okay, fine. I knew I said this, but now I'm ready. So you can actually see someone you want to work with in the future, or someone can add value to you, and engage the person. Send an email, ask a question. How did you achieve this? How did you work on this? How did you get this job? What skills did you develop to get this job? Because the truth is, I think the thing with mentor-menteeship is at times some people feel you have to have like a direct relationship with the person. No, it could be we've never seen before. You added me on LinkedIn. You asked me a few questions, which happens to me a lot. I respond to you, I let you know, or you ask, how can you achieve this? And From there, I even learned from some of my mentees. You get, because I would ask questions. I need to see how they think, how people operate and relate these days. So you'll be surprised. So most times it becomes a symbiotic relationship, which is both sides are learning from each other. The mentor is getting from the mentee might be getting a lot too from the mentor. But to get a mentor, reach out to the person. Easiest point is LinkedIn. Add, send a message. Hopefully the person would respond. If they don't respond, go to a conference where the person would be speaking at. Ask a question, try to get the person's attention. Or go to your LinkedIn contacts, look for someone that knows that person and tell the person, do you know this person? Okay, I need to reach out to the person. Link me up with the person. Put some effort into it and you would get it. So I think it's a lot of effort that I think people need to put into doing things these days. I see them not doing so much. So they need to just put more effort to getting what they want and they will get it. So
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that. So if you're on this call and you're not on LinkedIn, please you have to hop in on LinkedIn ASAP so that you could get the benefit as well. So moving on, sir, let's go back to your career a little bit. And what do you consider as a challenge, a major challenge that you encountered during your development phase, and how you were able to overcome those challenges?
hmm, let me see. A major challenge. Okay. So a major challenge when we were starting off then was we didn't have access to so much information the way it is now. Today there's an admin guide somewhere how to. I can learn Python on YouTube as in I can everything is a bit easy now, to be honest, based on the amount of information that is on the internet. All you need to do is Google, use the right keywords, ask the right questions, and you have access to it. Back in the days, which it wasn't so long by the way, because I'm a bit of a young guy anyway, we had to read a lot and do then we used to call it Dagbo. So do a lot of Dagbo, which is make mistakes, learn from your mistakes. And I was privileged then to work with people that understood that and gave us the chance to make our mistakes and learn. And it's unfortunate that opportunity is not there anymore. You hardly see environments where they accommodate mistakes or they let you learn by making mistakes. So today you need to be a bit more proactive, having the right information, taking the right steps. So back in the days, the challenge was we didn't have information. There were some things you won't know. So you have to install, run, spend the whole weekend. So it was time consuming, but we made it enjoyable. So issues that needed to be resolved today, you need to resolve an issue in 20, 30 minutes. Google, check online, you find a command line, you find a fix. Back in the days, you would make that mistake, you will crash that system, you will set up and have to roll back, you know, you would maybe get a query, expose your company's data. There were a lot of mistakes that were made then. And it was a bit challenging because I worked in after leaving some environments that were enabling, I worked in some environments that were not so enabling. And it was an issue for you to be creative. So you only do what you are sure of. So it was a bit of a challenge to be creative and to grow in capacity compared to now, where you have a lot of information. There's someone somewhere you can speak to quickly. There's someone happy to talk to you about an issue or how to resolve a problem, just to even get your attention, compared to back in the days where you had to make your mistake, you had to read a lot, and things were not in videos. So now you have how tools in videos. Click, 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 widget this, widget that. No. Then it was command line and reading, reading, reading. So yeah, so it was a bit challenging then, but we didn't see it as a challenge. We felt it was something we needed to do to scale and to be where we're at. So now that we see that things are a bit easy, we expect people to even do more. So yeah, it's there were more challenges back then than now, but and trust me, there are more opportunities now. People just need to apply themselves. People need to apply
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for sharing that. So we have really no or little excuses for for
No
greatness
excuse.
or yes, yes.
No excuse.
All right, thank you so very much, sir. So we are coming to the end of the session. Just two more questions and we'll wrap it up. So, if there is any tips or advice you want to give to those that are just getting started in cybersecurity, what will it be? One take home that you want to give to our attendees today?
Okay. So, and it's a pull out from my New Year resolution, and it's probably going to be a bit surprising for a lot of people, is read. So, if there's anything I'm going to do this year, I'm going to read. I've not been reading. So, whatever you think I've achieved, I think I've just been lucky, freestyling. So, I want to do a lot of reading this year, being intentional. So, for example, saying that I want to be a digital forensic specialist. So, what books do I need to read? Who should I follow on LinkedIn? Who should I follow on Twitter? What webinars should I attend? What free trainings on LinkedIn and you know any other platform should I engage in? And just be intentional. Write things down and work towards them. Without looking for a job yet. Just develop capabilities. And I think it's easy to say now because if you look at areas where you should focus on, like I mentioned, forensics is a part of cybersecurity where, at least in this part of the world, people are starting to embrace. So by all means, develop capacity in digital forensics. Know how computers and systems work, information systems, and know how to assess them. Know how to pull out data, critical data, and then develop your forensic skills. For those that are already lining towards being a pen tester, I would say, like some of my pen testers, they have development skills. So beyond the tools you get to use, you can customize your methodologies or approach to helping a customer fix their problem based on your development skills and scripting skills. So have some knowledge of. So if you've been working on knowing how to code, or you have basics of coding, develop more capacity in coding as you try to be a forensic, no, as you try to be a forensic specialist, yes, and also as you try to be a penetration tester. So you want to write CEH, but yes, also learn Python, know Java, HTML. So so pen testing for web applications, you need to know some of the protocols and frameworks that some of these services were developed with to be able to, assess them proactively, find gaps and remediate gaps. So developing these basic skills help you thrive. So we do a lot of training in some different academies, and for our cybersecurity curriculum, basic is always first on systems, networks, coding, operating systems, understanding Linux. Let me give you an example. You see people try to use Kali Linux, but they don't know Linux. So what they do is when they jump on Kali Linux, they'll be focusing on just what Kali Linux has to show them. So it's like just learning Kali Linux through what Kali Linux is giving you. But you see, the first place to start is understanding Linux as an operating system first, and then taking it to the next level. So it helps you be granular. You have that depth, the right depth. So developing the basics, understanding systems, understanding networking, develop some coding skills, depending on part of cybersecurity you want to focus on, whether it's application security, web security, develop cloud management skills. So AWS has a lot of free stuff on being an AWS practitioner. Go and do those free certifications. It would give you that knowledge, maybe not the experience, but the knowledge for cloud technologies and how to secure cloud infrastructure. And that's the next level. Every new entity setting up now is setting up in the cloud. Most unicorns and old entities are moving to the cloud. So it's a good place to start. Understanding how the cloud works, understanding how to secure the cloud, do some certification. So for example, if you want to do ISC2, before doing CISSP, you can decide to do CCSP. You get Certified Cloud Security Specialist. That's a good start, trust me. As you grow, you can now decide to do CISSP if you want. But those are the skills we need to develop. Cloud, understanding cloud, virtual machines, how they work, developing coding skills, how do systems work, system management skills, network management skills. Start with that, and then as you grow, you will now say, okay, so what do I really want to be? Do I want to be a malware analyst? So your operating system skills will help you there. Do I want to be a forensic, you know, digital forensic specialist? Your understanding of systems, operating systems, data, information works there. Do I want to be a network security specialist? Your basics in network management would help you with that. Do you want to be a security specialist? Your understanding of systems, infrastructure, application, solution would help you with that. So it's important to get the basics. Don't rush. Get the basics and then move to the next level. That would really help.
Okay, thank you so very much, sir. I actually wanted to ask about where you see the future of cybersecurity going, but as it is, I think it's everything is actually moving to the cloud right now. Um,
Yeah.
Ransomware as a service, uh, analysis as a service, SOC,
Yes, yeah.
VCSOs, and all of that. So everything
Yeah.
is moving
Yeah.
to the cloud,
Yeah.
and it's just very important that we gain those skills so that you can position yourself to any kind of role or whatever that you want for yourself. Thank you so much, sir. Just some
Okay,
a
go ahead.
quick question. So I wanted to ask, Chelsea or Mayu?
Come on. Well, you know the obvious answer now. Why would you ask that
No,
question?
now some Man U fans would love to wear Chelsea's jersey. That is why
Oh, really?
I'm asking. No, not
Why,
really, not really. That's
that
by
would
the
be
way.
interesting. So I like
So
so I always get this every time, and people will be like, Chelsea and Chelsea fans are touts. Chelsea. I'm like, no. We have a lot of Chelsea fans that are security specialists, professionals, support the club for the right reasons. So of course you can't help it. Other people will support the club. In fact,
okay,
for me,
let's
but yeah,
take a quick poll. Let's take a quick poll and see which one people will go for, Chelsea or Man U. Let's see the majority
oh,
of
let's see how
this
that
call.
goes. So please, if you don't choose Chelsea, don't reach out to me. Don't even talk to me.
Chelsea or Man U? Okay, I think. Uh, View and publish. All right, let's go.
Jefferson is saying the right thing. Jefferson is the right thing.
54, 45. Okay, 50, 50. uh, all right.
And guess what? You know, Chelsea is for the brave too. Only brave people are Chelsea. Driven, focused people.
Uh, uh,
People. Yeah.
I want to say it's because Man United has been having a kind of hard time this past few weeks. That's why.
That's it now. That's why you need to be in a club where we can face challenges and conquer. So
You. All right. Thank you very much. We have 55 against 44. So Chelsea have it. Congratulations.
good stuff. Good stuff. Well done, guys.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much for your time and the knowledge shared. It was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed myself personally, and I guess every attendee did as well. So, guys, thank you very much, sir, again for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you. Thank you very
So,
much.